Want $5 while supporting my podcast you're listening to right now? Try Cash App. I did. So did an actor buddy of mine I met on set. She simply sent at least $5 via Cash App. Instantly, $5 was added to her Cash App account. Thanks, Cash App. Use my code WKXRVBX to support this podcast and earn your $5. One of my favorite things with Cash App, besides the fact it works like a firewall for my bank and credit cards, is the boosts. Whenever I get my coffee beans, almond milk, and other groceries at Trader Joe's and pay with the cool black debit card Cash App sent me, I save 10%. Apparently, I can save with Cash App boosts at In-N-Out Burger. That sounds good. I think I'm going to have that next. Whole Foods Market and any coffee shop as well. There's a list of boost choices. Hey, I get it. You've heard about Cash App on the other podcasts. But look, a dude driving a top shelf Tesla to do a set at the Comedy Store in Hollywood, that dude is not worried about how to pay for his next podcast. I am. Want more Mark Roman Empire? Also a podcast. Use my code WKXRVBX to support this podcast and earn your $5 with Cash App, available in your app store. You're nobody till somebody loves you. Spreading the news like mayonnaise on toast. The policy of truth. Gary, I have a mission for you. Eastbound and down, loading up and truck 'em. Flux capacitor, okay. But let me tell you about that time I drove a cab. Money that's something, chicks that read. I want my Mark TV. First, you're not on TV. Podcast. Now, that is some weird and wild stuff. Did you know that, Ed? Yes! Oh, please don't drop me home, because it's not my home, it's their home, and I'm welcome no more. Well, Robin attended Juilliard. I attended Hillsdale. I'm a graduate of the San Francisco Comedy College. I've traveled the Midwest quite extensively. I lived through The Big Short and I had a pretty good time doing that. I've seen Pat Robertson jabber about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Not to mention the fact you're talking to a subversive. So what do you think? Do you think I'm qualified?
Oh, well, I think we'll need to pray about that and ask your father.
Shut up, Marilyn! Just eat it. Just eat it. The Mark Roman Empire. Also, a podcast. It's showtime. Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I got the horses in the back. Horse tack is attached. Hat is matty black. Got the boots that black to match. Riding on a tractor, lean on my bladder. Cowboy hat from Gucci. Wrangler on my booty. How? That's as much as you're gonna get. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I don't know how to sing it, even though I'm listening to it along with everyone else apparently all day long. Of course, that was my Markioki of Old Town Road by Lil Nas X. You know, unless you're hiding under a rock somewhere. Number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song that was country even before Billy Ray hitched his horse to the Gulf Stream. And the controversy. It's not just a song by Prince. I feel like I'm watching Blazing Saddles. Bart dared to wear a badge, but Lil Nas X dared to sing country? Look, I think we know by now, I'm not a big rap guy. I'm not a big country guy, unless it's in a big country, dreams stay with you. Whatever label you must put on Old Town Road or not, how can you not love this song? Ollie, I'm talking to you, Ollie. I see you there. I see you grimacing. I can't wait to see it, though, Oliver. Not the video game that casually trotted out this musical delight. I can't wait to see the music video, if not the movie, involving Will Smith, Matthew McConaughey, and Thor. Speaking of the Avengers, Endgame is ready to blow our minds April 26th. Whatever it takes. And I've got none other than Fury himself on the podcast today. Or is it Jules Winnfield? His IMDb says Elliott Branch Jr. I didn't know he was a junior. Whether you call him Jules or Elliott, he's my buddy, a fellow busker, and a man of many talents with many stories to tell, which we'll get to, if not directly, shortly. Oh, hi there. I'm Mark Roman. Mark who? Mark Roman. You know, like the Empire? My interview with Elliott, a.k.a. Jules, a.k.a. Fury, in a moment. Hey, we're recording episode 21 here, kids. This podcast is old enough to drink now. Yes! And the only liquids in here, Ollie has Niagara water that looks like it's been drained. And I've got my lemon honey water in my little SAG-AFTRA tin, whatever you call it. Water containment device. I know there's a shorter word. I can't think of it right now. I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of making a podcast, all right? I'm kind of busy and stuff. Did I tell you that we're recording at the world famous Musicians Institute here in Hollywood? On Hollywood Boulevard, carefully nestled between a Tom Cruise Scientology, it's like Scientology, but it's different. A Tom Cruise Scientology hostel and the TCM Film Festival. That's right, Turner Classic Movies. They are I think they're doing a red carpet as I speak. Of course, when you're hearing this, it's like a week later, so it already happened. Hope you enjoyed it. Although I think it's still going on. I don't know if it ends this weekend. I think it goes for a week. Whatever. I just want you to know that you're in Hollywood and cool things are happening and I'm here and you're listening to it. And I like that about you. We are safely still within stumbling distance, which is key because the podcast is now on its 21st episode. We are within stumbling distance of the legendary Pig and Whistle, as well as Jameson's Irish Pub, where everyone knows Lieutenant Frank's name. Ollie, as ever, on the sound. You know, Ollie, I was going to ask you who's your favorite character on Downton Abbey, but I didn't realize how much you thoroughly enjoy Old Town Road. So, what's your favorite lyric, Ollie? Old Town Road. I know that there's so many to choose from, you know. Gucci hat? Yeah, you know, he talks about that. There's a thing on the internet. Yeah, I think Gucci's figuring out if they're not, whoever the fuck runs marketing at Gucci, if they're not already like on it right now and have it figured out to product place in the damn music video, they'll probably involve Will Smith and McConaughey. I don't know. I just all day long. All day long. All day long. I wish Ollie was mic'd here. Nobody heard any of that, but Snoop Dogg would be awesome in it too. Anyway. Health update, guys. because, I have difficulty with interpersonal relationships. So that is why I entertain complete strangers. And it's including, you're not a stranger. You're listening to me right now. I feel like you kind of know me. I don't feel like I know you as much. That's not an invitation. I'm just getting our bearings here. But you're kind of my accountability partner, all of you listening right now. And I'm really trying to work out better. I just started recording again. I'm so glad to be back. I never had the iPhone. I got the iPhone a year ago, and they got all these cool little apps. One of them is a health. I've started recording the weight. So it's lower than I thought it would be, which is good. And last week I hit running once. That was a nice, good hike. I hit the gym twice. That's my 3 times that I want to do every week. This week, I've already done twice in the gym, and that included today, which is a crazy last minute, as the day I do the podcast normally is. But I got in at least 20 minutes of cardio today, and I've been noticing a difference. I'm not going to say that I got all lean in my bladder, but I'm working on it. I will say that my pant size waist has maybe dropped a unit. I don't know. I'm feeling it. It's working. Venka. I feel like Venka should be named the podcast compassion correspondent, because I see, for those of you who are new to the pod, I worked with Venka back in my mortgage days when she was an operations manager. Now she's homeless. She's asking for help, and she has to endure upright citizens who donate to her GoFundMe with the attached instructional strings of, quote, "Do not be bitter," or "Forgive others." Did I mention Venka had a stroke 2 years ago? It was finally diagnosed last fall. Some attorneys might wonder if that's malpractice. Imagine being homeless after a stroke. I think Venka needs some compassion and help, not lectures. But then again, I don't worship Jesus to anyone's specific satisfaction, and it's always really specific. So I'm probably destined for the eternal suffering of hell so many wonderful humans are so desperately eager to imagine. Because, as George Carlin reminds us about God, but he loves you. I got a text from Venka this morning. I'll read you. There's no border crisis compared to the homeless crisis in our backyards, cities, counties, and states. It's horrendous and underreported. My blog will be reporting on this as an ongoing standard with stories of the homeless, other individuals who are in a similar situation. I'm a divergent catalyst affirming compassion. That is a hint of future things to come. Charitable organizations are overwhelmed and able to do what they once did with double or triple the need. Ratios show the extreme disparity, if they want to admit it. On my new blog post, I will speak of a woman I just met, a darling little spitfire with, at age 66, rheumatoid arthritis, and will have spinal surgery in the next 2 months, and has a housing voucher and is waiting for housing. She will be in convalescent care following surgery, but then what? Stay tuned. OneTinySoapbox.com. Thank you, Cap. And then she did that little heart emoticon thingy. How do you describe emoticons? It's a heart. It's a red heart. Thanks, Vanka. I appreciate that. Will and Grace 2.0 is a new GoFundMe that she set up to not only help Will and Grace 2.0, but also to help others who are also struggling with homelessness here in the richest country in the world. The link is at markromanempire.com. Click Venka. You're going to Hollywood, or maybe you live right here in the City of Angels, and Cousin Kathy, her husband Harold, and their twins are visiting for their vacation. Yeah, the twins who still take selfies of their boogers. Apparently, it's a Fortnite thing you wouldn't understand. But you got to play tour guide. Maybe you're a local who wants to see what all the fuss is about. I sense a Hollywood tour in your future. Let me ask you, though, that walking or bus tour you're about to hire, can they distinguish between facts, rumors, and lies? How does she know Idris Elba once shared a free-range latte with Samantha Bee next to that palm tree? Look, does your Hollywood tour even have a bibliography? Was your tour guide ever in The Hollywood Reporter, a hand double for Nicolas Cage, or ruled a celebrity by a federal judge? Did your tour guide ever write lines Hank Azaria spoke on camera for an NBC primetime sitcom? Does your Hollywood tour guide have a podcast, an IMDb, or teeth? These are just a few of the questions you should ask before you hire any Hollywood tour guide. And there are at least 17 questions. For the full list, you must ask your Hollywood tour guide questions you must ask. Before you spend a dime, go to markromanempire.com and click Tour Questions. Free stuff! Want some? Do you want free stuff that helps me record more podcasts for you to hear? Then visit markromanempire.com and click Support. Discover free stuff from companies like Coffee Bean, Farmer Boys, Uber, and Lyft. Plus, choice products and services from our sponsors. Hey, keep checking back for new stuff added. And before you buy anything, make sure your purchases count. Take advantage of select offers that help me, the Mark Roman, record one more podcast for you to hear for free. You're welcome. MarkRomanEmpire.com, click support. And thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys helping me out. Avengers Endgame, it's coming up here pretty quick. And I've been Hollywood Cap. I got to say, this is, it's been a very rewarding and fascinating experience. I still clearly do not look like Chris Evans, but I keep hearing more and more. I won't call it a groundswell, but I hear more often now. Wow, he kind of looks like him. Mind you, I'm not an actual doppelganger, even though Tom Lennon called me his doppelganger. I'm an actual, what you might say, impersonator. We'll be talking to a real impersonator today, my buddy Elliott. But I think we've all grown into my Hollywood cap. A few weeks ago, I saw this guy, took him to be a veteran. Veterans will wear hats that kind of let you know. This one said Iraqi Freedom Hat. What Cap will do, my Hollywood Cap, is he'll show respect. So he'll say thank you for your service. He'll also do that if he sees you wearing camouflage. But, he's Steve Rogers. He's been frozen on the bottom of the Atlantic for decades. He's still trying to acclimate to modern times. Give him a break. All right. Anyway, this guy in the Iraqi Freedom Hat, I say, as Cap, thank you for serving. He's kind of put off at first. He kind of looks at me and he kind of like jerks back a little bit, like he's not sure how to take it. And then he kind of just walks off. He comes back, though, a few minutes later, and he apologizes to me. And he said, man, I've been through some stuff. And then he shares with me, I almost punched a guy earlier. But I really appreciate, the good characters like you and like Wolverine, referring, of course, to my buddy Ross, who does Hollywood Wolverine. I told him, hey, I understand. And I shared a little bit of, clearly he's had some PTSDs from his time in Iraq. I said, I never served, but I have some PTSDs that I struggle with myself. So chatted for a brief moment, and I don't know. It just my eyes got open a little bit to issues that a lot of people are carrying around with them that we don't necessarily know about. It was an awkward moment that turned into a better moment. There's a lot of awkward moments out there. And being Hollywood Cap has kind of opened my eyes to how you can be seen and what you can be and how it makes you feel. I think of all the excited boys and girls of all types who are excited to get a photo with me and join the Hollywood Avengers. I've seen the increased hope and joy with Black Panther coming out, with Captain Marvel coming out, just kids of, whether it's boys, girls, all different backgrounds, all different colors, wearing all types of, headgear or not, or clothing. It doesn't matter. The Avengers are for everybody. Doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter who you are. It just matters that you want to be and feel like a superhero. That's it. It's a human thing. We're all human. And I love that about it. It's not a bad gig. So I'm grateful to Stan Lee and to Marvel for and the MCU and Disney. Now that this is their imagination project. It's been a good 10 years of the MCU. I'm looking forward to seeing Endgame, and it's been really cool being Cap. But, big question here. As we've seen in the trailers, Cap is back to clean shaven. So what do I do with the beard? It's kind of grown on me. Because Cap's kind of a key part of my life here. If I'm going to keep being Hollywood Cap, what do I do with the beard? There is a Twitter poll at the Mark Roman. We had one last week. After 24 hours, it ended a tie between beard and shaved. So 24 hours wasn't enough time. We've now got one up. It's going to be up for another 4 days. The current poll will end a day before this episode drops. But right now, it's 33% beard, 0 mustache, 67% clean shaven. So I might have future polls in the future. So follow me on Twitter at the Mark Roman if you're not already, and we'll find out. We'll find out what the people wish, and then I'll make an executive decision on or after the release of Avengers Endgame on the 26th. The 25th of April, if you're lucky enough like me to be in Hollywood, because it'll be showing as early as then. You can write me at romanpodmail@gmail.com. And you can listen to the podcast, continue doing so on whatever platform you're on right now. But just so you know, you can also do it on Apple Podcasts, Mixcloud, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. All those platforms, look up Mark Roman Empire. On SoundCloud, you got to look up Mark Roman Podcast. MarkRomanEmpire.com has all the links, plus rolling new grooviness. On Instagram, Mark Roman Empire. My interview guest today is my buddy and fellow busker, Elliott Branch. He's an actor, comedian, and a spokesperson. Unlike the last two guests, Elliott and I go back quite a few years, here in Hollywood and a hot minute in Vegas. We also both share a history in Southeast Michigan, as it turns out. But instead of Elliott, I usually call him Jules. Because the first thing you'll notice about Elliott when you see him is that he happens to look quite a bit like Samuel L. Jackson. Hear him quote Ezekiel 25:17 as Jules Winnfield in Pulp Fiction, and I think that'll complete the picture for you. That's how my Lieutenant Frank first encountered Elliott. Imagine what happened when Lieutenant Frank asked, "What?" Now, Elliott, you've seen do stand-up comedy in places like Laugh Factory and a Comedy Store in Hollywood. He's also performed where he started in Detroit. He's been in the short films Anger Anonymous, which is written and directed by previous podcast guest Ross Michael Johnson, who also played Wolverine. Elliott played Jules Winnfield in Anger Anonymous. He was also in the short film Deadpool the Musical 2, Ultimate Disney Parody, where he played Nick Fury. Live in person, you've probably seen either Fury or Jules at select locations in LA and beyond. And as I understand it, he's working on his, is it Mace Windu? what Sam Jackson did in the Star Wars prequels. Elliott's got something working, a few projects with that character. Let's sit down with Elliott Branch. Jules! Your name is Elliott, but I've always known you, which I guess we got to go to the beginning here, right?
Right. Let's take
Lieutenant
it from the top.
Frank. It was Hollywood Boulevard, right? Or was it Vegas? It was Hollywood Boulevard, right?
I
Where
think
we first met?
Hollywood Boulevard.
I was Lieutenant Frank.
Yep.
I'm wearing the women's short shorts. In the beginning, I think it was before I even had the Rainbow Tactical leg warmers, right?
Before the rainbow. That's right.
Yeah.
Taste the rainbow.
Yeah,
It was before the rainbow, brother. Oh, now I'm doing Hulk Hogan and shit.
I know. None of us are going to
Let me tell you something, brother.
That was good. That you should. That would be awesome.
Oh, come on. It's the black Hulk Hogan.
Hey, I was going to say the Japanese, okay? But you
Okay,
you made it racial. Okay?
No. I am who I am. So if I did Hulk Hogan, it would be
You are bald. Is that what we're talking about here?
bald, and I wear the bandana that says Hulkamania.
Lieutenant Frank would cite you for your picnic pride
Oh, really?
because you got the checkerboard flannel
It's
going.
my country
rocking
gear.
there. Yeah.
Wranglers on my booty.
So just before we started the interview, I brought you up to speed on the whole
Yeah, I'm so
Old Town Road.
I dig it.
It's a catchy tune, isn't it?
Very catchy. Very catchy.
But the controversy, oh my God, that's not real country.
Oh, some people are going to be annoyed by me now that I know about this song.
Oh, I love it, man.
But how far out of the loop am I? This dropped when? December?
Well, it dropped December, but then Bieber posted it blew up from that, and I think that was a few weeks ago. But then a week ago, what really kind of ignited it was the Billboard Country chart.
Oh, okay.
That it was on and zooming up to the top, and then Billboard goes, "Yeah, we don't think this is actually a country music tune."
But it was backed by some country music legends, right?
Well, that's what prompted a bunch of, because of course everyone shoves microphones into, all the
right.
Is the country errati? Is that a word?
You just made it up.
Instead of the Illuminati or the literati, it's the country errati. Is that even a thing?
Who says that? I did. I just made it up.
Hey, if this is the Mark Roman Empire and I'm the emperor, can't I, Can I be granted the
Game of Thrones episode, the Mark Roman Empire?
Well, Game of Thrones is about to, sing its swan song. So I'm just,
And I know, and I'm trying to catch up. I'm at season 5. I've been binge watching.
Oh, you're way farther ahead than I am, brother.
Oh.
I have not even started.
Very entertaining.
Not even started. I got to watch The Wire. I do. It's a good show. I watched the first season. I think the first episode of the second season, but it's I gotta burn through that whole thing. And I saw the guy, he was Jack Ryan's James Greer guy, and Jack Ryan on was it Amazon? I want to say,
which is a spinoff of Red October, the movie, right?
Well, it's based on the character from Red October.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So it's kind of like reimagining
Alec
the character
Baldwin was
that
the first.
Alec Baldwin and Harrison Ford and subsequent, and then I think there's other people.
Nipsey Russell, I think.
Oh, Ben Affleck, I think was
Ben Affleck. I just had a woman tell me, "You remind me of Nipsey
name, right?
Russell," and I was like, "Nipsey? You mean the guy who was doing the rhymes
Nipsey Russell
back in the day?" I know. I look, had me looking at my phone like, "Okay, how?
I know
what am I looking like right now?"
Yeah, no. Yeah, even if we put a huge, enormous bow tie on you and the huge, he had the tall but the skinny fro.
Yeah,
I don't see.
He was a wordsmith, though. Not claiming that I am.
I just know him from the roasts, the
Right,
Dean Martin
right.
celebrity roasts.
And all the game shows. He was a regular on all the game shows back in the 70s.
Those were some cool shows.
Right.
For comedians.
Oh, yeah. And I always had a passion for stand-up comedy. And
you got started. We both have a
Michigan roots.
Hold on here. But this is good. We got in some good depths here. But let's get back real quick. Lieutenant Frank.
Oh, right.
Because you look Everyone's like, "Oh my god!" In fact, all right, tell the story. Right, as I was meeting you to come in to do the podcast. What happened? What did you have to deal with out on Hollywood Boulevard?
So I had several people, and obviously we have so many tourists here in Hollywood. Sure. So I had a group of about 6 guys, and they were kind of following me and taking a look at me because I'm wearing a Kango.
How do you know they were following you? Like, what was the?
Because I went to the wrong address for you.
Yeah.
Started texting you.
Right.
And they were walking behind me, almost alongside of me.
They're tracking
And when I changed gears, they did the same thing. And then I got stopped by the light. And then a guy actually came alongside of me, and they were looking at each other. I could see him because this happened quite often.
So they weren't trying to get to the Dolby Theater. They
were trying to get a photo with who they thought was possibly Sam Jackson.
Oh. When did you first get a ping from someone?
You know what? It was many years ago when Jungle Fever came out. I had a lot of people, and I lived in Detroit at the time still. And people were like, "You look like Gator." I'm like, "Who the hell is Gator?" "You look like Gator, man." Then when I saw the movie, people were like, do the dance. And I'm like, well, too bad this isn't video because I'd be but I
Can you do the dance?
Yeah, I know the dance.
Oh,
you know, come on, mama. Give me some money, mama.
And that's because Spike Lee basically started his that was the breakout role, wasn't it?
Gave major
they both went to was it Morehouse?
I think Spike Lee went to New York
NYU Film School.
Yeah, NYU. I do believe, and Sam Jackson went to Morehouse.
Okay,
in Atlanta, I believe. It's
felt like I heard in an interview. I don't know. I got to see Screen Black Klansman, and Spike Lee did the Q&A afterwards, and that was.
Well, he gave Sam some of his first big breaks as far as movies, but there's Sam Jackson's in episode, at least one, an old episode of Law and Order.
No way.
Yeah, where he plays an attorney. He was in an old Al Pacino flick, and I'm trying to remember. This was going back to the 70s, where he's like extra or speaking extra, like small roles, but he had them. I think a great actor, and just with so much versatility and range. I actually met him. I worked on a set with him once, which was
no kidding.
Pretty funny. I was in Starbucks, and a guy looks at me and goes,
now, how long ago was this?
Okay, this was this was maybe 2 years ago. It was a couple years ago.
Okay, 2 years ago. All right.
It was Kong Skull Island.
Okay.
And so they were in need of a Samuel Jackson lookalike to do some reshoots. Okay. And I was dressed up as Pulp Fiction, standing in line in a coffee bean on Hollywood Boulevard. And the guy goes, "Hey, man, come here." And I kid you not.
And they were shooting nearby on location.
No, they weren't shooting at all. This guy was on his computer, and he had saw it on Actors Access or LA
pre-production
Casting.
at the Starbucks.
No, just another actor who was just going through, running through, looking at what the roles were.
Oh, so he sees the casting call.
And he sees me standing in line. He goes, "Hey, man, come here for a minute." And my first thought, I kid you not, was, shit, if you want me, come to me. What the hell you mean? But I'm not even kidding. But then I thought, okay, just relax. You know, life is short. I mean, don't have an attitude.
You take the Sam jacket off, and you're like, the Sam character.
Not even kidding. I walk over to the guy, and he goes, "Look here." And he shows me the sheet. And he goes, you know, looking for a Samuel Jackson type for some reshoots for Hollywood movie, blah, blah, blah. I screenshot his computer. I go home. I submit.
Yeah.
And then I get a email, and they want to see some more photos, which they call current photos. Because I sent them photos of me dressed as Pulp Fiction, as Jules Winnfield.
Right.
And so they wanted current photos of me. Yeah. So I had a buddy of mine who I'm actually going to help run some lines tomorrow. But I went to him. We took some photos, submitted those as well, and then I got a call. It was like, okay, here's the deal. We're gonna hire you. They need a lookalike as well, a photo double,
right?
And they're gonna decide who they want for that. But we're definitely gonna hire you as a stand-in. And so I had to show up at Warner Brothers, and I got a chance to work on set for like 7 days.
Oh,
and so I got
cool.
a chance to actually to work with him, which was super fun for me. But I stayed professional. I didn't act like a fan, though. In my mind, seeing us dressed alike, I wanted to go. Come on, man! I gotta have this photo. This is gonna be so cool. And the funny thing is,
now, how did he feel, or could you tell?
We only spoke twice. My thing was, when I got on set, I decided beforehand I'm only going to talk to him if he talks to me, because I'm here for work.
Right.
So I don't know how he is.
Smart.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And so on 2 different occasions, he walked right up to me and started, just small talk. Hey, how you doing, brother? How was transportation out? Because we shot once in Ontario.
Okay.
And
California.
during those, Ontario, California, right. And so during those exchanges, we small talked just a bit. I kept it short and kept it moving. But he was cool. He was nice to me. But it was funny because people on the set of Warner Brothers, every day someone will come up to me and go, hey, can I get a photo? And I'm like, I'm not him. I'm the double. And some people would be like, feel embarrassed. Some people would act pissed off like they thought I was him and I was blowing them off.
Sure, right. A cool Sam, whatever.
Yeah, even one of his assistants was like, Sam, are you looking at this, brother? It's like they cloned you. And I wanted to laugh at that, but I was like, that's a surefire way to get kicked off the damn set.
This stuff's got to be coming back to Sam's. Like, how was he... did you get any sense of like how he...
they actually asked for all my contact info. One of his assistants that came over to me and said, we want to keep in touch with you. We might be able to use you for
one of his personal assistants, outside of the production.
Right.
That works full-time.
I assume. I assumed it was. And so they asked for my emails.
She didn't seem like a
numbers,
production.
It was a guy,
assistant.
actually.
Okay.
So I gave them that, and then the wardrobe personnel spoke highly to me afterwards, and it's just never know. I have not heard from them since then, but it's not like I was actually expecting that anyway.
But you're on the radar.
He
knows about you.
We'll see. I went to London. I don't know if I told you this. I went to London. I did a TV show in London. A group saw a video of me posted on YouTube. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. This was like almost 10 years ago. I just posted me doing a crappy monologue on YouTube with no links or nothing
yesterday.
to it.
Yeah.
I posted that. And these guys in London, England saw it and were trying to locate me for 2 years. But like I said, I didn't post anything with it. So make a long story short, they reached out to an agent, a lookalike agent who I happened to have signed with, Denise.
Okay.
And
who
Denise
represents a few other podcast guests we've had on.
Denise is absolutely magnificent. And so she put them in touch with me, and they flew me to London. They paid me. I remember you
went to London, but I didn't know the whole scoop.
Did a 2-day shoot, but they flew me over and let me stay extra 3 days. I was like, I can't just fly in. It's like a 10-hour flight, man. And so they booked me for 5 days. We shot 2 days, but for 3 days I had downtime and had a blast over there. And everyone was thinking I was, him over there. They took me to a restaurant when they picked me up from the airport. First time ever. I get to the airport and there's a guy holding a sign, Branch, and I'm like, oh snap! I can get used to this shit. I can get used to it. I'm walking around with him. We get in the car. They drive me to a restaurant.
Yeah.
We go in. The proprietor, everybody thought I was Sam Jackson. I get, I'll never forget this. I get sea bass and some lamb. And I'm eating and just loving it because the crew, they're treating me like I'm an A-lister.
Yeah.
Because for this thing, I was important for that episode that we were shooting.
Right.
And it was just a wonderful feeling, man. And on set, the crafties, they all want to know, what do you want to eat?
Your mojo is infectious. That's why, like I was telling you before we started here, like I was real, and it's not just because we're friends, we work together on different things over the years, but it's like I was just like really looking forward to this podcast, sitting down with you, interviewing you because I've never met Samuel L. Jackson, but my experience of him from watching films like Pulp Fiction or the Avengers, all the Avengers films,
right.
I feel like
Star Wars
when I'm around you. Yeah, Mace Windu, right?
Got a story about that too.
We got to hear that. You just sitting here with you. It's like there's this like the elephant in the room is. I just feel like I am with Sam Jackson. I like intellectually know you're my buddy Elliott.
And then you see me walk outside and get in the Uber. You're like, that ain't Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson wouldn't be getting in the Uber. Maybe he would. Maybe he would.
No, there's still, it just, yeah. Like
and I'm just kidding.
Those intellectual things that like you go, you tick them off. You're like, okay, yeah, no, this doesn't add up. They melt away because like you just, the force of your personality, literally it's like.
Kind words, sir.
Performers, they bring a presence. You know, some people might call it charisma, but I think it's more of like a presence. Like there's a, which especially with Samuel L. Jackson, whatever role he plays, that's a really strong character. And if you're not bringing it,
overwhelming.
Yeah, if you're not bringing it, like you can't fake that. You either have it, or you don't, and just you happen to have that. So, you know, I can tell, like, you know. Being Sam for you is like basically learning a few lines and wearing some wardrobe. That's about.
Well, you know, and I've always.
That's the impression I have. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what's like. And what was it like? Like, I know we're going in 15 more different directions. I'm so excited.
I can tell you about the time I saw him at Comic-Con dressed as Jules Winnfield. And dude, I was top story on Reddit on 2 different occasions just from that cosplay outfit and how many people liked it. And it's funny because you'll have like 3,000 positive comments.
And the Pulp Fiction one's the most popular one, right?
Which
I think tracks with
no, I thought it was.
Yeah.
It has a strong core of devout followers.
Yeah.
But dude, Mace Windu, I'm working. I'm hoping to get a part in a YouTube movie. You have to check this guy out. Star Wars Theory. You can go on the YouTube channel, Star Wars Theory, Vader fan film.
Okay.
Incredible. Incredible. And they're going to do another episode. And I'm hoping that I'll be considered, or I was told I would at least be considered for the Mace Windu character.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm hoping
this is like fan fiction, basically.
Yeah, but the guy is very passionate about what he does. Like, I can't say it enough. Star Wars Theory.
Yeah.
Very passionate about what he does, and he does it for the fans. And they're very receptive, and they appreciate it. He did a premiere. I went to the premiere of the first one. It was Vader film, Shards of the Past.
Okay.
Dude, he showed it like 6 times in a row. And each time the Majestic Theater over in Westwood was like packed with people.
Wow.
And I made a little plug for him to promote it.
Mm-hmm.
And his fans, people knew I wasn't even in that first one. I just made the video for him.
Right.
And people were coming up to me, "Are you going to be the Mace Windu in the second one? Can I get your autograph? Are you going to be the Mace Windu?" I'm like, I would be honored, but... And like I said,
the people are asking for it. You know, what are you going to do?
Well, he has a director, and they have a solid relationship, and they do good quality work.
Nice.
And so, if you get a chance, check it out on YouTube. It's fantastic. I think you would be impressed. And like I said, the guy is just passionate about what he does, and it comes across when you see him speak on his videos, when he's talking about it, the passion, and you see the energy that people give to him. They gravitate towards him. It's just incredible. So I'm hoping that I could do that, and I'm working on some other things as well. Last hit,
you got these different choices, so it's awesome.
Just trying to stay positive and doing something. You know, it doesn't matter what. As long as you're doing what you love. And
now,
so
for people who don't know, like, you have a full-time gig.
Yeah, I work for General Motors, GMC in particular. So as an independent contractor.
Right.
So I'm a presenter, a product presenter. So I'll go to major auto shows. And
are you a spokesmodel? You're one of the people
Spokesman. Spokesman sounds much better.
You stand on one of those things that slowly rotate that are like the size of like a golf putting green, and it slowly turns around with a vehicle on it, and you're like, the 2021 GMC Yukon is now standard.
Not even kidding. I've done that now for like 21 years.
Wow. So that's your main bread and butter.
That is.
So the stand-up comedy, acting, being Sam L. Jackson, that's...
Well, the stand-up comedy for many years was the sole source of income.
Oh,
And
yeah, because you
stand-up
started in
comedy
Michigan,
is
right?
what opened the door to me being the spokesman for GMC.
No kidding.
An agent in Michigan.
Oh.
I was having a conversation with him. Super cool guy. Just love him and his wife. And we were talking about other comedians we knew in the business that had started doing the auto shows. And so I was telling him, man, I would love to do that. If I could do that, I could move to LA, and because they pay for your travel, you negotiate what your day rate is going to be, and then you get a per diem, which is based on what city you're in.
So you're already planning to go to LA back in the day.
Yeah, but I was very terrified. I had put my house on the market in Detroit like 3 summers in a row, and then didn't go through with it. And there's ways you can get out of that, And so I finally had a buddy who still lives here to this day, told me, look, man, it's going to be easier if you're here than it will be in Detroit. And I thought about that. And in the summer, well, not even the summer, but December of 2002, the 17th, everyone always knows the first day they moved to LA. And I packed up suitcases. I sold my house, gave everything in it away to family and friends, and just packed suitcases and flew out here. And I've been here since then. I was hell-bent on staying.
I used to have a house in Michigan, too. I used to live in Ann Arbor. Back in it was in the 90s.
I used to work the Main Street Comedy Showcase, or Ann Arbor Comedy Club it's called
that's
now.
Where I met
Liberty and Fifth, right on the corner. It's still there, actually.
The first date, on Main Street.
Main Street Comedy Showcase.
Yeah.
It might be called the Ann Arbor Comedy Club now, I'm not sure. But it's on the corner of
I saw
Liberty
Jon
and Fifth.
Stewart there before it was the first date with my ex-wife.
Right.
The mother of my son, who's now in college. But this is like before the Daily Show, before he was a household name. He was just a touring, working, headlining comic, that some people knew, and that's it. But that's when I first saw Jon Stewart, and so I always think of Jon Stewart. He reminds me of my ex-wife.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, for some, But then again, that's the whole thing about comedy. Like our pain gets to be someone else's laugh, right? Yeah.
And well, you know what? As comics, a lot of times we draw humor out of the pain.
I don't remember a single joke he said. I just remember that he was the comedian.
Yeah, right.
So it's Ann Arbor and just Michigan in general. It's
I still
a different
have ties
place
there,
Because you grew up there. I went there because I grew up in Northern California, but I went out there for college, and then kind of got stuck there for a decade.
No, that's cool, man. You doing basically what you had to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm all over the board. I'm talking about so many different things.
But
Star Wars, Pulp Fiction,
I'm having
stand-up
fun
comedy.
here.
That's all good.
And this is good. And I think I hope those of you listening are clinging on to our mad dash all over the fruited plain here. But let me get back real quick just to touch base on. We first met on Hollywood Boulevard. You are Jules from Pulp Fiction. You're in a black suit, black tie. You're holding a briefcase.
Jerry curl.
And you got that Jerry curl wig on. You're just sweating bullets underneath it.
I know. Losing weight that I needed.
And at the time, I think this was early on, you had the toy gun with the orange end. Talk to me about that, because if it was me looking as I do, I kind of feel like the LAPD would treat me differently. Is that a fair?
Yeah, because as you recall, I had a partner that did the Vincent Vega character, and we had
John
the same
Travolta,
gun,
yeah.
and nothing was ever said to him at all. But several times I was approached, and what actually happened with them in this situation, which is really weird, technically. See,
Sorry,
this
Siri.
is, you know what? Siri was
Siri,
eavesdropping.
you're not a guest.
Siri, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, Siri. I'm gonna turn Siri off.
Are you talking to Siri or Yolanda?
Oh my Lord! But here's the deal. To make a long story short,
LAPD.
yeah, a lot of
Toy gun
characters were being harassed. I was one of them. My partner never was. You look beyond that.
This is back when the city actually arrested eventually, right?
I never was arrested. I actually was.
But it's during the time
when they were arresting characters.
Yeah.
True. But I think initially what they looked at, and I won't necessarily say it's a black or white thing. The character is such a badass that they see me dressed out there and they just automatically assume I'm a bad person. And on more than one occasion, I had to tell the officer, I said, this is the character. And it was a character when Sam Jackson did it, right?
Vincent Vega's no saint. That character. I'll grant you, and if you look at the two of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they want a reason to try to find out who you are.
I'm just, to me, that LAPD, and I say this with love, LAPD, because LAPD Hollywood Division has effectively, where Bosch, is filmed. They've basically effectively adopted my Lieutenant Frank as a mascot. So
okay, cool.
I like that. But, I have friends who don't happen to look like me. And, I know and I hear stories and I see news reports and there's plenty of evidence and it's an ongoing thing and it's not just in LA, it's across the country still to this day in 2019. Police.
Well, without question, I think they were targeting me because I was black. But the initial thing when you see me is Jules Winnfield is a bad character. Now, not all the officers, some of the officers there appreciated what I was doing.
There's a black guy with what we think is a gun and we're going to decide it is a gun.
Well, yeah, I like I said, I've been.
But what about the white guy just like him with the exact same thing? He doesn't look like a problem. Let's go after that black guy.
Oh yeah,
I don't know, I feel like that's the that's what's going on there.
It's a double standard. But it always has been. The sad part is that I expect that, whereas I shouldn't. I was with Dave once, and we were in Pasadena, and I didn't even have a gun, and he had his drawn on a couple. They wanted us to do this, to take the photos.
Sure.
And an officer moved in, drew their guns, grabbed their hand on his gun and pushing it down. And then they returned to me. They're like, do you have one? Do you have one? I'm like, I'm holding a briefcase. Why are you even talking to me? He's got the gun, but you guys are angry at me. Angling. Is there such a word?
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Anger was being directed at me. And I was like, hey, slow down a minute. I'm holding a briefcase. Why are you even talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
He's holding so stuff like that happens and you just have to figure out ways to overcome it. You keep it moving. What I did, I once got a ticket.
It's frustrating that in 2019, especially when people like to brag about what a great country America is, that, because I don't have that challenge. I don't have to, how do you put it? Like move beyond it and try to just kind of like pretend like, like as an entertainer, like, all right, someone just heckled or, there's some disturbance, you acknowledge it, but then you move along and you pretend like it never happened and you get the audience back engaged. And I feel like there's a lot of people in our country that have that burden that's been put on them.
True.
And that sucks, man, because I don't have that burden. And why?
But
why should anybody have to have that burden?
What needs to happen, though, because I know all about it, because I live it.
So tell me, that's what I'm asking.
No, you need to have that dialogue with more people who look like you.
What should I say?
That you get it, that you understand.
I have had people say things.
You'll have people say things to you because they will assume that you think and feel just like them.
Yeah. And I look at them and I'm like, wow, really? Like there's people that we both know. And I know in their head, they don't think what they said was in any way racist or, at the very least we'll say mean-spirited or inappropriate or something that, is not helpful. Yeah,
no, but I think a dialogue has to start, and doesn't have to be with me. It can be you and I, hypothetically speaking, black male, white male, but more white males or population need to have a conversation because I already know it. I live it.
Yeah,
I live it. When I look, I had the police come up to me and say, "We heard you had a gun." I said, "I had a toy gun and I put it in my car."
Yeah.
You know what? Next thing you know, 4 other police cars come up, and I have a video of this. They got me in handcuffs.
What
I'm
year
like,
was this?
"Well, you just searched me." This was just a few years ago. I was like, "You just searched me, and I don't have the toy gun that you said I was not supposed to have up here. So let me ask you a quick question. Why am I in handcuffs?"
Right.
We're gonna call a supervisor. I'm like, "Yeah, I get it, but I mean, you just patted me down. I don't have the toy gun."
Right.
Make a long story short, what I found out, and this is what they did. The state of California's code is any toy firearm must be like bright yellow, bright orange, bright red, green, pink, clear, blue, light in color.
Right.
To get by the code. The federal law is what all the characters out here were going by, and that's just the red tips. So they researched
State law is stricter.
State law is stricter.
You know, it's funny because I ran into this very issue. This is why
In Vegas?
In Vegas. But I had exactly what the California state law would say from what you've just described is okay. It was, I literally got it from the dollar store. It was
California Penal Code 20175. I memorized it.
See, the fact that that
I used to carry it around in my
takes
briefcase.
real estate in your brain, to me, is like, what the fuck? Like, why do you have to have that burden? That just, I gotta talk to more guys that look like me and say, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Or just having a dialogue. Because a lot of people in this younger generation that don't really see it, don't appreciate, say, the privilege that you have.
Right.
The conversation needs to be over there.
Yeah.
Because I already know it. I already see it. And it's okay. People are different. I'm not talking about okaying someone's negative thoughts. That shit has to change. But just like me or don't like me because you got to know me. And if you don't want to get to know me, that's cool. But don't let visually what you see make you want to prevent me from just enjoying my life and trying to succeed when I'm doing everything by the book.
See, to me, you're my friend. And so when people say something, and then suddenly the issue is, well, because he's black. And I'm like, wait, that's my friend. Like, why? He's my friend the way I thought you were my friend. But now you're creating this division.
Well, a lot of people are very divisive.
It's weird.
And misery loves company.
Because I grew up conservative, politically conservative, Christian, Republican, and now I'm a card-carrying member of a labor union, SAG-AFTRA. I'm a registered Democrat, proud and happy to be. So I get where people are coming from that will make these arguments like, immigration's bad, those other people. I grew up around that. And even then, that those arguments, they didn't hold water with me, but I didn't realize that I wasn't very open in my political thinking to people that didn't look like me, and it took me a while to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, we've made some progress, but I mean, in a lot of ways, we have not. But
the fact that you have to deal with this and that you know that penal code, which I've already probably forgot that you just recited, like to me, that just.
Part M is the last part of that.
I'll talk to people that are in law enforcement, and I've done that here in not just in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cast a broad net here because I have a lot of friends that are in law enforcement, and
trust me, and a lot of the guys out
they
there,
think in their head that they're not racist, and they don't realize that their outlook and what they're saying, it comes across pretty fucking racist, and it makes you think. How does that color the decisions you make as a member of law enforcement, a law enforcement professional? Because, I'm just chatting with you as a buddy. There's
people make
there's
these
no
sweeping
crime that you're,
generalizations too. And you just can't pass judgment. I got stopped by the police once, and the first thing they asked me, they're like, which I thought was funny. How many tattoos you got? How many gangs you're in? I was like, what about driver's license, proof of insurance? Shut up and get out of the car. I'm like, I thought that was a legit response to what you, what you had to say. And it was one of those days where I was just not trying to have it. You're not going to mess my day up. I was like, what about driver's license, proof of insurance?
Right.
How many tattoos you got? How many gangs you in?
Wow.
How many times you've been to jail? I've never been in jail. What
the assumption, though.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
You're in this
but
bucket.
there's and maybe the conversation has to happen between the law enforcement agencies themselves, because every officer doesn't think like, they all don't think that way, but so many of them do. And
I've noticed it in increasing diversity.
Some are afraid to speak out because
more women,
retribution.
more minorities in LAPD than when I first moved to LA. It's been gradual, it's been glacial, but I have seen a change.
Mm-hmm.
I got to imagine that's got to help a little.
Yeah, but we, I shouldn't be a threat to you just because I'm black.
Right?
That's just cut and dry. I should look to you as a law enforcement officer as a form of security, somebody I can go to for help.
Yeah.
But when you automatically look at me and just assume the worst, then, how can we make any progress? And so, like I said, I think it's just having the conversations is how everything starts. You have to be willing to talk about it, and that's everyone across the board. But
being a busker, working as a street performer, which is how we met on Hollywood Boulevard going back.
Right.
I'm Lieutenant Frank, and I've got the banana because in Vegas they saw the fluorescent green and orange, literally like cowboy pistol that I got from the dollar store, squirt gun, and I literally got cited. It was like a warning, but still, like I got detained and they wrote me up. There's a record, and that's why I changed. This is in Las Vegas, in Nevada. So I don't know what code they're using.
Maybe heard something. I'm not really sure, but
the same Nevada that, like, what, a year ago or so, some wealthy rich gambler guy gets in the top of one of the casinos and then like shoots up a whole bunch of people at of all things, a country western festival. It's weird who we target and then who's actually the real threat.
Yeah. Say that again.
Jesus on a cracker. But no, I've just noticed, because it's weird, as a guy who I like to think of myself as mostly straight. That's just how I am. But when you put on women's short shorts and then you add rainbow tactical leg warmers, it's interesting to see how people who are complete strangers, who've never met you before, the judgments that they immediately rush to.
Oh, right.
And so I have inadvertently, because of this performance choice I've made to, financially support myself as a working artist who, has a previous life in sales. Like when I was in Michigan, I was selling telecom usage when that used to be a thing on landlines. It's, I don't know. It's interesting to have people, say the F word to you. The other F word.
Fugazi?
Because they think you're gay, and, they clearly, they've decided you're gay and they hate you because you're gay. This is what's going on in their head, and it's pretty clear by what they say and their attitude. And I'm thinking in my head, you think I'm this thing that I'm not, but then I'm also thinking, but please don't go, shift this to someone who actually is gay, because what you're doing is horrific.
Right.
Just stop doing what you're doing. You're not helping anyone. You're making the world a worse place. You're creating fear. Like, just don't do that. But like, it's a weird position to be in, because like I'm literally feeling like they really think I'm gay and they hate gay people. So I'm the object of all this, the target of all this hate. And, you know, like the walking by and they'll kind of say under their breath the word. And I don't know, it's that's really opened my eyes, as well as just seeing how when you work as a busker and you're perceived as just a street performer.
Right.
And to see how low on the totem pole that is in American society, in California, especially here in LA. And I also saw it in Las Vegas. And it's just, as someone who, you know, has had a white collar, you know, professional background.
Right.
Which you still have for a Fortune 500 like legacy, you know, come GM. I mean, it doesn't get more old school, big corporate blue chip than that.
Right.
And, you know, it's just interesting to, you know, see the difference in treatment based on how people perceive you.
Well, you know, people don't like change. People don't like people that are different.
That's it. It's the fear of the different.
And so,
you're not like me, so I got to be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But I lack the curiosity to, you know, learn more and find out more about who you are, and which is a possible path to maybe discovering the similarities that perhaps we have. And then also maybe, hey, what differences we do have is actually a good thing, because, you know, we bring something new to each other that, you know, can make your life a little more interesting, a little, you know.
Yeah, well, without question. I think, you know, I always thought, you know, having a year or two in the military would always be a good thing.
What'd you
across
serve?
the board? I was Air Force.
My brother's in the Air Force.
Oh, okay. I had a short stint in the Air Force. Got an honor. Didn't want it, but I was honorably discharged because they said I was asthmatic.
Huh.
And so I came home a bit disillusioned by that, because I had enlisted for 6, and the plan was to do 20. I'm like, I can knock out 20, be 38 when I'm out of here. Got retirement coming from
yeah,
that.
right. Get retirement. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I tell you what, when I was sick, I had cancer. Remember, in 2014,
which is shocking to me. I was telling you this before. Like you are so professional, and you deliver the character. Like you're Sam Jackson to me. So I'm like, well, Sam Jackson doesn't have cancer.
No, and I don't anymore.
And the characters that he
Boom.
plays doesn't have cancer. So
Okay,
I'm like,
right.
there's like this disconnect, and that goes back to like this wonderful, you know, mojo that you deliver. I'm just like, you can't have cancer. That doesn't make sense, because you don't look like which I don't like. What does someone who has cancer look like?
Right.
I guess that's a stupid
they look
question.
like you. They look like me.
It reveals my own ignorance.
But no, and that's okay to be ignorant, because it just means you don't know. So
Well, yeah.
let's break that wall down.
But you got to start there and go, okay, I accept I'm ignorant, which means maybe I need to learn something new so I can
and that's
stop
something
being
that's
ignorant.
hard for people to admit.
Especially for a guy, it hits the ego.
Well, and then I had prostate cancer, so that's a
shit.
whole nother a layer to the whole cancer thing. And,
Do you have any cancer now?
no. I get checked
That's amazing.
like every 6 months now.
People die from that shit.
Well, yeah, but there's, you know, I think it's most about early detection is the biggest thing for anyone that's dealing with any type of cancer. There's just certain things. When I had prostate cancer, I would have, and this would really piss me off. So many people would be, well, at least you have the one that's easier to cure.
Wow.
No, I'd be like, yeah.
That's empathetic.
It's like, right. For a while, for a few months, I
You
didn't
have
even
good
tell
cancer.
anyone.
You don't have bad
You
cancer.
have the good one.
Yeah.
Look, I didn't even tell anyone. I didn't tell family. I didn't tell anyone for a couple of months, because I was trying to figure it out. And this is the punch in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
I used to always say to people, kid you not, if you knew in a year that you were going to pass, if you knew in 1 year you were going to pass, you don't know how, but you know you're going to die in 1 year.
Yeah.
What are the things you worry about right now that you would stop worrying about? Because that's how we should live our lives, because tomorrow ain't even guaranteed.
Yeah.
So when I got that news, I'm down in Miami. I do the biopsy and everything because my blood test came back, was really high. And they were like, the only way we could really know is if we do biopsy for you. So I was like, okay, that's cool, but I'm going to Miami. They're like, well, it'll take 2 weeks. I said, okay, then I'll come see you when I get back to get the results. Right. I get to Miami, 3 days into it, my phone rings, 9 o'clock in the morning. I said, are you sitting down? Well, look, just want you to know the results came back and you do have the cancer and we got it. So I'm in Miami, on Miami. Yeah, I was on the Miami team. I was in Miami working and trying to enjoy myself like a paid vacation. Yeah. And I got that call and I was pissed. Not so much about I was scared about the cancer, but pissed that they didn't wait for the 2 weeks. Because I was like, I'm going to deal with it no matter what. Yeah. But you'd
already scheduled in your mind, like, I'm going to enjoy this.
Well, you stuck me in Miami. Now I got to work and I got this, all this head. In my head. And I was pissed.
No pressure.
And then when I got back, went to see my doctor. Like, she no longer works here. I thought it was a conspiracy. I'm like, what do you mean she no longer works? You just fucking called me in Miami and told me I had cancer, and I come back and you say my doctor doesn't work here anymore.
Wow.
I was flipped. So I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my coworkers. Didn't tell family at all because I didn't want everyone calling me, and I was trying to figure it out what I needed to do. But hey, I don't have that anymore. So I chose,
so glad,
I was doing like radiation and hormone therapy. I was doing CBD pills. I was making pure CBD pills. I was making them my damn self. I was buying $100 syringe worth of CBD and mixing it with coconut oil and taking the pills. I started eating raw garlic and ginger, whatever it took to survive. I was like, I'm going to do this. I have to take my own advice because it's not a death sentence. It's a change you got to make. You got to deal with it, but you have to face it. So I tell people all the time, especially men, get checked out for prostate cancer. Right. Know what your PSA is. Right. And from that, I did research. I wanted to know what my blood type is in case something ever happened that way. So, hey, I'm AB positive. It's not the most rare, but it's one of the rare ones. Maybe 3% of people have AB positive.
I'm the O negative.
But
I'm the universal
survive.
Donor, I think.
Oh, okay.
I need to go get checked, though. So.
Can't hurt to know. But I'm alive and I'm doing well now and still trying to stay
I'm
positive.
so happy, man.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you had me on, too, man.
I'm so fucking happy that you are doing well. There's all kinds of stuff that you've been in and that is coming up. You were in Anger Anonymous, which a previous podcast guest, Ross Michael Johnson, who we also know as Hollywood Wolverine.
Right.
He produced, directed, wrote that film, and also starred in as Wolverine. You were Jules in that. You were also in Deadpool Musical 2 last year as Fury.
Nick Fury, yeah.
And now you're working on Mace Windu for Star Wars.
Yeah, that's awesome. A YouTube fan film, but there's a full-length feature film that I got cast in. It's called The Last Hit.
Nice.
And so I don't know what the timeline is on that when it would start production, but so just lucky to be blessed to be able to do and make a living the things that I love, that I enjoy.
And you're still selling GMC cars, trucks.
In a sense, I am, just by being on the microphone.
That sounds weird when I say selling. It's not like you're not the guy in the tacky suit on the lot. Did you?
Right. I used to sell.
I sold
cars.
a car once. I sold in Ann Arbor Toyota. I sold an entire Corolla. I sold one Corolla. I sold a car. But you're actually at the trade shows, or at these like auto conventions, and you're on the spinning golf green with the vehicle there, and there's lights, and it's glamorous, and it's like a red carpet for the auto industry, basically.
Yeah. And every show does have a red carpet. So, I've been doing that for 21 years.
That's a good gig, I got to imagine.
It's fun. It's allowed me the ability to travel, to have my summers off, so I can focus on the other things and just trying to keep it moving, stay positive.
Well, I don't know if you know this or not. I was looking at your IMDb star meter, which, we all take that with a grain of salt, but yours is up 514,415 just this past week. And in the last 12 months, it's up 2.4 million. So something's going on.
Fingers crossed, praying.
What's coming up? What should we? Because you when you doing stand-up comedy next? Because you've been at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, right?
Performed at the Laugh Factory before, and then the Comedy Store. I don't have anything coming up there soon. I'm actually trying to not reinvent myself with comedy, but trying to just
write a new act.
Yeah. And so I'll
these
start
days, people like write out new acts like almost every year, it seems.
I think it's good. What I wanted to do is talk more about some of the things that I've gone through health-wise. When I was going through my radiation treatment from my cancer, I developed psoriasis or eczema really bad. And so I'm still dealing with that to this day. Those doctors think that it was just coincidence that it happened almost at the same time, but their belief is that your body's trying to fight the cancer, and that opened the door for this autoimmune thing to go wild. And
that's frustrating.
It's long lasting. I mean, because it's as you can see, well, you probably can't see it so much today, but it's
I can see and
the skin
you look a little uncomfortable.
It'll flake, and when it itches, it's just crazy, and it's just
wow. Can't even imagine.
It attacks your self-image too. That's probably the biggest thing on top of all of this is your self-image.
And yet my image of you is big, powerful, intense, strong. Samuel Jackson.
I'm like, will I ever have a girlfriend again? Somebody was like, you need to try like the Tinder or one of those dating things. I'm like, yeah. What would I say? Looking for a mature woman. Psoriasis, eczema, not necessary, but bad skin a must. Because I gotta have somebody that can relate to me. And hey, you got some Aquaphor? I sure do. I rub some on you. You right? Yay! Finally, somebody that love me.
You might be surprised.
I know, right?
Although, I haven't had much luck on those.
No, man. Let me tell you, man. I've been working on my health and trying to get this stuff in order.
I don't blame you.
All that has to be secondary. I've had some relationships
exactly
as far back as just 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. But it's just, that I think you have to stop looking for that and let that just recognize what's good for you when it happens.
Yeah.
But
we
chose this life.
Exactly.
This thing that we chose, this entertainment, it doesn't wait on anyone. So
no, you got to create it.
Trying to focus and get out there and get it and make it happen becomes the key because people are doing it every day out here. People are getting up there, taking classes, during workshops, they're in the gym.
I just love hearing you say the life.
This thing of ours.
Oh, I think on that, that's a good place, I think, to end it, which we could go on for like another hour here.
I know,
longer.
right?
I definitely want to have you back on. One of these days, we're going to do some, like what Mark Maron's done, where he has like a panel of guests in front of a live audience. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
With you. So, it's been good catching up with you, brother.
Yeah, you too, Mark. I appreciate it.
You.
You too. Pleasure. Much appreciation, bro.
Elliott, a.k.a. Jules. Wasn't Elliott awesome? I forgot to have him say the speech. You can see it on YouTube. The speech, the Ezekiel speech that he does in Pulp Fiction as Jules. But I think you got enough Samuel L. Taste. And more importantly, you got to know Elliott, the person. We covered a lot of stuff we didn't get into. I feel like I was a little light on his Fury stuff as an Avenger, and we also did some stuff together at Beecher's Madhouse, both in Vegas and Hollywood. But like I said, I've got to bring him back. He's a mensch of a guy. Love that guy. Elliott Branch, check out, he's got the new thing coming up. We'll have some links to his social media, his Instagram and his Facebook on the page for this particular episode. And speaking of that, any links to stuff mentioned on the show, you can find at markromanempire.com. Hey, thanks to all our listeners across the globe. I see you, Las Vegas. Dunfermline, UK. Did I say that right? Dunfermline. I don't know. Whoever is hearing me in Dunfermline knows if I said your city, I said it with respect, okay? I know you're probably a lord or, I don't want you to send the Dowager Countess after me or anything, okay? All right? All due respect, I am but a commoner, all right? Also, St. Galen, Switzerland. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly because it's Switzerland and I know, I didn't say you're the nice Nazis. That was Robin Williams. So don't send your hate mail to Robin, okay? I love you, Switzerland. I want to go. And, I'm thinking of Sound of Music. Right? Anyway. Will and Grace 2.0 does need our help. They remain homeless. They are on the front lines of our broken America. Will and Grace, I should say Will and Venka, a.k.a. Grace, they painfully know quite specifically how you can hero tier. Read my article about them on Medium. You can also read my article about them on Medium. It's entitled Meet the Cap of Will and Grace. Go to markromanempire.com, click Venka for the Will and Grace 2.0, GoFundMe, and more. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Pretty cool. Don't forget to rate and review on Apple Podcasts, formerly known as iTunes. Thanks to those of you who already have. It does help the podcast grow. You can hear also on Mixcloud, Podbean, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, and also YouTube. MarkRomanEmpire.com. Click listen to access all of that. To avoid missing out on cool stuff, hey, join my mailing list, the Mark Roman Empire Census. Sometimes we have special deals and perks for podcast citizens. Become a citizen. Go to markromanempire.com. Click census. We welcome immigration to our empire. We're that empire. Twitter at @TheMarkRoman. Instagram at Mark Roman Empire for the podcast. At Vegas 90210 for Lieutenant Frank and the other characters. Cap, for instance. Email your questions to me at romanpodmail@gmail.com. And I might answer them on the podcast. I'm feeling in a better groove here. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I know ideally we want the podcasts every week, but, I get acting gigs. It's really important to have the production standards that we have so far. I'm really grateful to Ollie for doing it, and I'm really happy to pay him for it. He is a solid professional, and I realize that you can listen to people that sit in their car or in their underwear on their bed and they talk into their iPhone, and hey, no one's stopping you if you want to go listen to that podcast. It's just, that's not the Mark Roman Empire, also a podcast. So you're welcome. I'm just really happy. What's going on? I'm working out, getting all my systems lining up, making progress every day. It's good. I'm liking it. I hope you like it too. Hey, the podcast can drink now. It's 21. Yes. That's pretty awesome. I guess we're all grown up now. Oh, do we have to be? No, we don't, because I'm the emperor and I get to say. Until next week, drop your sacred text. Listen to Old Country Road. I'm talking to you, Ollie. Hey, how can you hero cheer for Will and Grace 2.0? Hashtag It Takes a Busker. Remember Clownolin and Prince St. Paul. I am the Mark Roman.